My name is Swami Dyanayogananda. If you're wondering about my accent, I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Uh, I've been a monk for the last 16 years. I believe that you can only get the benefits of a monastery if it is clear to you why you are in a monastery. Basically, you need to understand what is the reason that triggers you or inspires you to join the monastery. A monastery, it's not easy. It's a life of discipline, and basically it's called the life of renunciation. And sometimes people believe that renunciation means it's very frustrating because you kind of have to give up pleasures um, and and all that. Basically, the life of renunciation basically means to understand that in order to go within, which is mostly the goal and of monastic life or inner life, is to go within, and you need to sort of learn how to do that. And for that, the environment of a monastery is very helping. Coming back to the life of renunciation, which is, I believe that if we are going to talk about monastery and the life in a monastery, it is very important to understand what is and why you're in a monastery. So the life of renunciation basically is to understand that it's not through the senses, that we will find ourselves, but controlling the senses. In the Bhagavad Gita, one of the ancient Hindu scriptures, it says that is by restraining the senses, by getting hold of the reins of the horses, is the way to sort of drive the horses towards the path we want to, the goal we want to achieve in this particular case. So learning how to pray, learning how to meditate, um, learning how to create new habits that will help me towards my goal is probably these are tools and benefits in a way that you learn living in a monastery. In Hinduism, they believe that we all have to contribute. I mean, there is always a contribution from what we call householders, and again from those who decide to lead the life of a monk or the life of a renouncer. What happens is, again, one of the benefits of leading the life of a monk is not just to learn how to make contact with yourself, your inner self, but also the fact that you do that, and in time, there is you learn how to calm the waves of the mind, and therefore you have more clarity. And this clarity is important because you are able to understand the message of the scriptures. And when that happens, the benefits is not just for the monk, because not just for us, but also for the society, because one of the duties of the monk, at least me as a monk, it's clear to me that one of my duties or jobs that I have is to share with others the benefits of leading an inner life. Whatever you want to do in your life, any undertaking that you want to take up, I mean, you need discipline in order to succeed. Um, uh, being in touch with the monks, it's beneficial in that way that we get up early morning, really very early morning, sometimes 1 hour or 2 hours before the sunrise, and we go to the shrine or our temple, and we sit for 1 or 2 hours. It all depends on the monk and each individual. We all have duties. Some of these duties are specific, like teaching techniques. Like we have teachers, we have PhDs in physics, mathematics, and we all have these duties, specific duties, like taking care of the accounts or finance. But we also have to cook. We have to maintain the place. We have to clean. So anyone spending some time with us will learn how to have an order kind of life, by following rules that are mostly called discipline. I mean, without it, it's impossible to support the monastery and the community. It is said in the scriptures that being close to the monks, you also get the benefits, that means the vibes that move around us, the atmosphere. It's known that whenever you go to a monastery, you experience a peace of mind, and the place is, the atmosphere is very inviting, for either meditation or prayer, and that's good. I mean, living in a very stressful society is something that we all want. I don't think so, quite the opposite. It's not selfish, because if you really want to contribute to society, you need to help yourself first. Learning more about yourself, learning how to be at peace with yourself, learning how to be a better person, it's the way to go to contribute in a better way. I wanted to understand fundamental questions and really work with them. But mostly what really drew me here was the fact that I really wanted to find myself. I don't think I was looking for basically becoming a monk. I think this is just something that happened to me as a result of my thirst and searching for meaning and to find peace of mind and happiness within me. I wouldn't call it happiness, I would call it contentment. That's probably a more accurate word. And once you get the taste of that, and you don't want to come back to the world. You just want to go deeper and deeper, and the joy that you experience making connections within you, nothing really can replace that in the outside world. Well, nobody's really fit to lead this life. Actually, we learn on the go, and in the process, we understand what are the rules and what is best for us, knowing and understanding that certain things are not for us anymore. It's not, nobody is really fit, and nobody's really knows, or is we all learn how to lead this life. It's a process. It's day by day. I mean, it takes years, to kind of like get used to it and start enjoying it. Mostly what we when you invite people, you want to be a monk. I mean, that's not the question. I mean, it's mostly probably the right question should be, do you want to find peace of mind? Or maybe you can ask a question, what are you looking for in your life? What is that you want the most in your life? Right? And the answer will be probably one. Some people think that it's money, or maybe, save the world, like goals that are hard really to achieve, because you can't really uh, straight, the natural curly tail of a, of a dog. I mean, it will always come back to its natural shape, right? So to save the world is kind of like that, trying to straight up the curly tail of a dog. It will always come back to its natural shape. So I, I I believe that maybe it's clear, maybe it's not, but what we all seek, what we all want in our life is peace of mind, is happiness, is to be fulfilled, is to feel ourselves complete. And there is nothing in the outside that can help you doing that. Well, we have programs. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm gonna answer that, but let me tell you this: we have programs here at the Trabuco Monastery. It's called Monk for a Month, and you were asking me this before. I mean, in the sense that those who join this program can observe, can learn, can experience how we live by being with us and following our rules and our routine and our discipline. And by doing that, you also not just get the benefits, but you really understand that if whether this is for you or not. That is one. Now the second one, I mean, what would I advise people to do? I mean, if they cannot lead this life, well, it's not really necessary to live inside a monastery. What is really important is to understand that in order to find peace of mind or have an inner life, you have to have a discipline. Number one, I would simply put this question again: what do you want in your life? What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And mostly, what the answer is, and we help people to kind of like come down to this answer is that what we all want is happiness, and basically what with our teachings, what we teach, what we share with others is that there is nothing really in the outside world that can really that will really make us feel complete. Everything is subjective to change, so nothing's really going to be forever, and whatever happiness we get in the outside is going to be dependent and temporary. So what I would advise is people to try to understand this and understand that the only source of true happiness is within ourselves, is in our own being. This is something that we say, our scriptures say that we forgot. So we need to awake to that truth and make efforts to kind of like be reminded that we are divine. Swami Dyanayogananda, who was, we can call it a saint or a sage, the 19th century, he would say each soul is potentially divine. Each soul, meaning like you and I and everyone, is potentially divine. Potentially means is divine. And the goal of life is to manifest, express, manifest this divinity from within. And then once he says that, which is mostly the message of the Vedas, okay, in very simple words, and he says, and here is how you do it. So number one, you understand why you are going to do something, and that is extremely important. You really need to understand why am I gonna have some disciplines, or I'm going to make efforts to go within, because that's the only way to find fulfillment, to find happiness, to find peace of mind, not outside, because whatever you get from the outside is going to be temporary and dependent, and it's going to create attachments. It's going to, and whatever you get from there is it's going to frustrate you. Whatever small amount of happiness that you get, you're gonna have to pay the price of that happiness with misery and suffering. So if that is understood, then you have, again, coming back again to his maxim that says, each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity from within. Do this by unselfish work, by not expecting the fruits or the benefits of your action. And this is mostly called in Hinduism or Vedanta. I could use the word Vedanta better. It's called, it goes by karma yoga. Karma yoga. Not expecting the benefits or the fruits of your actions. That means that you have to be aware of the means. You have to be aware of the process in order to achieve your goal. And that means that you have to be in the present. You have to be there, fully with all your attention, giving your best to whatever you're doing. Not just say, all right, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it's all right. It's kind of, okay. No. It has to be done, with all of you. You should be there, present. We talk about these days about the power of now, mindfulness. This is kind of like this kind of practice. By being aware of the present, being aware of what you're doing, you are not focused on the benefits or the fruits. If you take care of the means, the end will be taken care by itself. You see? So this is called karma yoga. So Vivekananda says, do this by performing these mindful actions. Okay, karma yoga. Do this by adoration, by having the attitude of a devoted attitude, which we call it bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion. And basically, the yoga of devotion basically means to have the attitude, the right attitude towards the divine. And the scriptures say that the divine is everywhere, within and on the outside. It's all pervading. It's all pervaded by this consciousness. So then you worship everything. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion, then jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge, to constantly think and reason about who you really are, that you are divine, that you are not a human body, okay? And the fourth one is what we call the yoga of meditation, okay? But Swami Vivekananda points out is like not by following one, although you could, but what he advises is that we should have a harmony of all these yogas put together. We should be able to practice unselfish work and again, to have a devotional attitude. We should be able to assert ourselves by being reminded who we really are. And we should be able to sit and meditate, That way, again, it's those are means to find peace of mind within us. This is what is really important. He also points out that certain things like rituals and dogmas and stuff are really secondary. What is really the priority of life is to do something about what we call the duty of a human being. And the duty of a human being is to manifest our divinity. Absolutely, you don't have to believe in God. Although eventually, the more you dive deep into this life, your inner life, you discover that it's easier to embrace the idea of a God. God is everywhere, but it's hard for us to be reminded that it's everywhere because we have these habits, right? That we are so attached and identified with ourselves. So basically what we are invited and we are advised and is that we have to remember who we are. So in order to do that, we kind of like take up symbols of divinity. And for us, God again, to remember God is to remember by seeing a symbol or a name and form, we are being reminded that God lives within us. We accept donations. We we don't ask for money actually. We are not. Eventually, right now, we are not having any particular seminar. We are not giving seminars right now. Maybe in the future, if we do, we probably will have to charge some nominal amount. But for example, the program I was telling you about, Monk for a Month, it's free. Although we accept donations, but it's free. One of our duties is to share with others the beauty of having an inner life and to lead this spiritual life, and also help people understand that this is ultimately a way of life. This is a lifestyle, and anyone can do it.